On this episode of the Innovative Schools podcast, we sit down with Robert Jackson to talk about how to build cultural awareness in your school by using questions and intentionality. Come on, let's learn together. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Innovative Schools podcast. Jordan here.
This is Will as well.
We're glad you could join us today on this episode. There's a question we have. We want y'all to think about this question too. We're going to give some answers. And that question, if I get to my notes correctly, is what was a way a teacher made you feel seen or thought about?
I immediately go back to like before high school. I think it was middle school. I was able to just kind of move around the classroom to a different seat if I needed. My teacher, I can't remember her last name, but she had made it very clear to us that we're here to learn, and whatever that takes to get that done, that's what she wanted to help us do. So I could move closer to the board if I needed to. If I needed to, get extra supplies, she had that on the side in her room, which I know isn't immediately available everywhere, but I just remember she made it abundantly clear that learning was going to get done, and there was going to be no hindrance to that. So that really made me feel kind of heard in that moment.
Oh, just like making sure that you were involved in different ways and things like that?
Yeah, she was going to make sure nothing was in the way of my learning there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think to ninth grade, my English teacher, it was right when like MP3 players started becoming affordable for high schoolers.
Yeah.
And I had an MP3 player, and I would listen to music a lot. This is before like everyone had AirPods and stuff in their ears all the time.
I think they know because you said MP3 player.
You're right. But that teacher took an interest in what I was listening to. Like, she thought it was cool, but then she's like, not just the technology, but she was like, what are you listening to? Why do you like that music? And would like tell me about the music that she likes to listen to. And I just felt like kind of like seen and understood. And it wasn't just like, hey, here's all the English stuff that we have to learn. But it was like telling, like just making that connection. And I thought that really helped me even learn better in the classroom. But we bring that question up because our guest today is Robert Jackson. Hey, Robert. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you guys?
We're good.
Doing good, man.
How awkward is it to just sit there while we banter for a minute?
Not at all. I'm listening and learning. I mean, I was actually in tune and listening.
Oh, good.
Figure,
Well, we're gonna put you in the seat.
Connection's important.
It is important. So we're gonna put you in the seat now.
Okay.
You growing up in school, what was something that a teacher did that made you feel seen or heard?
Well, I think back to Miss Sangster right away. One of the things that she did was she stood at that door and hugged everybody that came in that room, and she called you by your name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She didn't say young man. She didn't say young woman. She said, good morning, Robert. Give me a hug. And then she called you by your name through the day. And also, she would give me leadership roles in the classroom. I remember, this is second grade.
Yeah.
But I remember she took who I was and the skills I had, and she told me that she taught me how to hone them, and then she spoke life into me for the future. She said, you're going to speak for a living. That's what you're going to do.
Well, and here you are.
And that's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Sangster. She's in heaven now, but thank you, Miss Sangster.
Oh,
That's
great.
lovely, honestly. That's really sweet.
But she's one of my favorite teachers of all times because she always spoke positive words into your spirit,
Yeah.
And coming from the background I came from, I needed those affirmations and I needed those words to push me through.
Yeah. Really poured into you.
Yeah.
So
Words have power.
before we get too deep, I wanted to know the answer to that question. I really like that answer. But we hinted at, that teacher telling you you're going to be a speaker, and I just said, here you are doing it now. So just let's take a brief second to like introduce you of like what you do, who you are, that kind of thing.
Okay. Robert Jackson, of course, international speaker, author, workshop presenter. I speak at corporate events, schools, do mostly schools. I've been in education roughly 30 years now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Been doing it for a couple years.
Just a little
You wasn't
bit.
even around yet.
You were.
I wasn't.
I was
You
barely. I was
you were
barely.
a little kid. So,
Wow.
I hear you talking about cell phones. A lot has changed. We didn't have cell phones when I was in
MP3,
school.
he's like,
you
we
know,
had boombox.
MP3s
We had-
and all that. Yeah, we didn't have none of that. So we ain't had no boom boxes at
Oh
school
gosh,
either.
sorry.
Get to the bus stop on time or you get left. You know what I mean? What's
Yeah.
the, you know, so yeah, I've been speaking for many years now, but I've been in this space as a speaker, as an author for, over 20 years now.
Yeah, and we're recording here at the Innovative School Summit in San Antonio.
Sure.
And you have a main stage presentation tomorrow.
I
yeah.
do.
Just kind of like plugging that.
Yeah,
a
busy
bit.
day
Or
tomorrow.
you do have a busy day. I'm glad that you could find some time for us today.
Yeah.
But so why we have you here is we want to talk about building cultural awareness. Cultural awareness. I feel like I stumbled over that a little bit.
Okay.
Cultural awareness with staff and students, which is
Okay.
something that you speak on and you talk about.
do.
But I think before we get into like how we do that, I want to define a little bit of what that is, how you define cultural awareness, why that's kind of important.
Okay. Well, for me, cultural awareness is acceptance and respect for everybody. Everybody's unique, but everybody's different. Different races, ethnicities, socioeconomic status,
Yeah.
sexual orientation. We got to be able to accept and respect everybody. And that's what culture is. It's everyone, not just certain groups. And culture is not color. You know, because a lot of people want to say culture is color. You can have two people that look alike and don't have the same experiences.
Yeah.
And you can have two people who don't look alike that have some of the same experiences.
Yeah.
Culture is culture. It's about acceptance and respect. And you find out cultures by having conversations.
Using names.
Got to.
I really like
You have
that. I really like that phrase. Culture is not color. I really like that.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
not.
it's about, acceptance and respect for one another and respecting our cultural differences. And when I say it's not color, it's because you can have two people who grew up the same way and they understand the same culture and they may not look alike, but a lot of people want to make culture color, and you can have two men that look alike. That don't mean they have the same experiences.
Right.
They grew up totally different. They don't have any idea about each other, you know, and
Like
I
it's-
think that's the mistake that's made.
Yeah, like it's not like a cookie cutter
Right.
set thing of this is one culture and this is the other. Yeah,
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah. Do you find that as a pitfall that a lot of, that teachers or people kind of fall into of associating those things together?
I think they do. I think especially educators who haven't been trained in culture and haven't had a lot of training in the workshops or whatnot. I think a lot of teachers do that, and that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To kind of help them help
We
help
try.
all of us along. I mean, we can always learn something new.
We can, but I tell educators all the time that culture is not necessarily color. And color is not necessarily culture. It can be at times, but not
Yeah.
all the time. Sometimes you just have to stop stereotyping kids and get
Yeah.
to know them for who they are.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of stereotypes happen, and that's where the stereotypes lead to the suspensions and the misunderstandings. And in order to understand somebody, you just got to ask them questions and have a conversation.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of one of my favorite TV shows is Ted Lasso.
Okay.
Have you watched that?
I haven't.
You should. You really should. It's a great show.
Ted Lasso?
Ted Lasso.
Okay.
It's about an American football coach who gets hired by a English football team, Premier League team. Is that Jason?
Oh, I don't know.
It's one of the Jasons. Anyway, look it up. Listeners, you can look it up if you haven't watched it. But in one of the scenes, he says, how does he say? He basically says, be curious, not judgmental.
That's right.
Ask questions. Get to know the person. Get to see what's going on before you make a jump to conclusions about someone.
And that's what's wrong with this world. I mean, everybody's judging everybody. Nobody's asking questions. People are assuming. And assumptions can be wrong.
Yes.
And just
Quite
because
often
somebody
sometimes.
just because somebody's coming from a 2-parent household don't mean that they got it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can be worse off than a kid coming from a single parent home because that mother in that single parent home is teaching that young man or that young lady emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
In that 2-parent home, they arguing, they fighting, they on drugs, they doing other things, and that
Yeah.
kid's raising himself.
Yeah.
So it's
You
the
never-
stereotypes.
yeah, you
Well,
just
if I
never
got 2 parents, then I'm good. Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see. Yeah, just don't assume. Just ask questions. Be curious, not judgmental.
Yeah.
I think is what that kind of comes down to.
That's right.
I think you have here. So there's 6 core values, I guess, when it comes to the cultural awareness for you.
Sure.
I'm going to go over them real quick. I guess it's love, trust, fairness, support, accountability, safety.
Correct.
Can you talk to us a little about those 6
Yeah, I mean,
values?
I think everything starts with love, especially in this educational space. We have kids coming from all different kind of backgrounds and socioeconomic status, but if you walk in love, why does it matter? And are you saying that all kids matter? How do you walk in love? Well, you got to be patient. You got to be kind to people. You can't be quick to anger.
Yeah.
Because a lot, you saying that you walking in love, but you angry every day. That's not walking in love. Love doesn't keep records of wrongs. Love doesn't boast. So when it comes to educating, activating, and motivating our kids to be great, I feel like educators need to walk in love because that's what we need to teach kids to do, right? So trust is not built overnight. Trust is built over time. If you marry somebody, I doubt if you're going to meet them one day and marry them tomorrow. Somebody may do it, but that's not the norm. Usually you want to get to know the person, maybe at least through the seasons, and see who that person is. So trust is built over time. So educators have to understand that, kids don't even trust their own parents. Why are they going to trust you? So love, trust, fairness. Be fair with everybody. You're going to have your favorites. It's okay to have your favorites.
Just don't let them know.
Don't be Captain Obvious.
You're my favorite. I mean, dang it.
Calling on the same kid all the time. My daughter came home crying last week, and she said her teacher never calls on her. She said she raised her hand, and she reached around her, calls on the same young lady every time. It's obvious that that's one of her favorites. Kids shouldn't know that.
Yeah.
My daughter's in the 5th grade. How does she know that? She shouldn't know that. So be fair and be consistent. Love, trust, fairness, support. Support comes in many different ways. Everybody don't need the same support.
It's true.
Even the same kids that come from the same house, same background, they need different supports.
Anyone that has kids of their own understands that.
They should.
They should. You're right.
I'm not going to say
I don't want to make
everybody.
assumptions. We just talked about not making assumptions.
We're not going to assume everybody, though, because
I apologize.
we'd be better off.
But should.
They should. But support comes in many different ways. Like I grew up with 4 sisters, and we all needed something different.
Yeah.
But we came from the same household. Love, trust, fairness, support, accountability. Be accountable for your actions. When you say you're going to do something, do it. If you make a mistake, apologize. But be accountable. I would never ask a kid to do something that I wouldn't do myself. I don't ask my kids to do anything I won't do. If I tell them to clean up, they got to see daddy cleaning up sometimes. They got to see me. I do the same thing. So, and then safety is not just being safe in the physical sense. We got to do a better job of protecting the psychological, spiritual, and emotional well-being of our children. That's what safety is, protecting those emotions and feelings and giving kids a safe space to be themselves. That's kind of, in a nutshell, what
Quick
that is.
That was. I mean, there's a lot in there.
Yeah.
Really, really dense. I mean, good. So when we're saying values here, these things that educators they need to hold in their, in everything that they do.
Yeah.
Right, is what we're saying.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
You're saying.
It starts with your heart. Do you care about what you do? Are you passionate about this work? Are you bringing the right kind of energy? Those things are important because if I don't feel like you're enthused to be here, why should I be enthused to be here?
Yeah.
I done been in some boring classrooms. I done seen some boring administrators. I've seen some boring speakers. Everybody's sleeping. I'm like, you got to bring some kind of energy and wake some folks up and then give them some good information that they can take back, practical things that they can use, not just personal stuff about, hey, I went through this. No, what can I do when I get back to Florida? What can I do when I get back to California or Texas or wherever you are? I need some practical things I can do right now to connect with this new generation of kids because it's tough. And if you're not going to connect with them through your energy, through your passion, through the right kind of attitude, and you're not going to connect with anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6'7" can only go so far, you know.
Oh gosh.
Someone had to say it.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Please don't say that again. That's 6'7" stuff. I hear that all the time.
My daughter.
My daughter says it all the
Yep.
time. 6'7". Stop.
I don't even know.
I
Out of
still don't
those,
know what it means. But
I'm not sure
Me
anyone
neither.
does.
yeah, you just say it because everybody's saying it.
Yeah.
Got to connect with them. Got to connect.
That's right.
Yeah, I can.
And I say it back to
I
her.
mean,
It is
honestly-
a connection. It is.
Honestly,
You're
that's
right.
a good point.
It is a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
I have talked to some teachers, and I know I'm not in a classroom, so it's a little different. I'm sure it gets annoying and it's bothersome, but I've heard all ends of the spectrum of 6'7", not in my classroom. If anyone says it, disciplinary action, all the
Yeah.
way to leaning all the way in, and they work it into their lesson. You know, somebody like,
As
hey,
many
you know
times
what?
they
We have
can.
about 6 or 8 minutes to,
Yeah, they're like,
you know,
"Ah."
you
Yeah.
know, like they're playing with, but it is, I do think that as annoying as it might be, it is a connection point.
It is. And not just that, just finding what that kid is interested in,
Yeah.
you know, because everybody has different upbringings and different. That's why I'm saying every culture should be represented in that classroom. The kids want to feel a sense of home or normalcy while they're at school. We can't just recognize certain cultures and not recognize everybody.
Yeah.
But how do you do that? You do that by getting to know each student and finding out who they are, asking them about their background, about their family dynamics. You know, I've learned a lot through culture myself, through friends. I mean, me and Ernesto are really good friends.
We had him on season 2.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ernesto,
Ernesto.
he's a great guy, but he was like, we were talking, you know, we've been to each other's homes and all that, but he was really talking about, you know, man, we bring a good grade home, man, we have a celebration. I'm like, for real? I mean, all out celebrations, man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like food, drinks, everything.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, wow. You know, I didn't grow up like that, you know.
Yeah.
My mom like, oh, good job. And then she went on back to work.
Yeah.
You know, so we have to understand the different cultures because that's a better way to connect with that audience. And if I have a connection with you, you're more apt to listen to me and learn from me, and you know, just a whole entirely better atmosphere.
Out of those 6, kind of going back, we meandered for a second, which is fine. We meandered, but going back to the 6 values, what do you find? This is 2 questions in one. What of those 6 do you find the hardest for you to solidify in the way that you interact with people, and what
Me personally?
you personally, but then
Okay.
also what you've kind of seen as you've gone to schools and talked to different educators and stuff?
The one that's as toughest for me is trust.
Mm.
You know, I speak nationally, internationally, and you have a group of 3,000 people in that room. Everybody's not right.
Yeah.
I spoke at the ESEA conference. It was over 3,000 educators, and you know, trust is hard because for me, you know, I have a responsibility. If I'm teaching and educating, activating, and motivating kids to be great, I take that responsibility seriously because this is somebody's life. Kids don't always remember what you taught them, but they remember how you made them feel.
100%.
And I remember this. I was at the All-Star game, and I heard somebody saying, Coach Jackson, Mr. Jackson, you know, this is one of my former kids, you know, that I had years ago. Why is he yelling my name at the game? Because of how I made him feel. And I think that trust factor is important. And for me, when I'm out here training educators, I tell them that. I say, it's cool to walk in love, but if I don't trust you, I'm not believing anything that come out of your mouth.
Yeah.
You know, and how's trust built? Well, your actions, your words. You know, it's not always about what you say. I watch what you do.
Yeah.
I watch your body language.
I can say I love you all day long, but
Right.
my action is going to tell you if I really do or not.
Give you an example. Trust. I go, you know, a lot of times when I speak at conferences, I show up a day early and I just kind of wander around, kind of walk in the room where I'm speaking at and kind of, you know, get a feeling for the atmosphere and all that. And I remember, I'm not going to say the conference, 'cause it wasn't this one. It was,
Oh, okay. I was about to say that
it
means
wasn't
it's us.
Accu-Trade, so
that
just let
means
it go.
it's at Innovator Schools or something.
All right, we're good.
Accu-Trade's a little bit different. You guys are really nice, and you got people greeting folks. But I was at this conference, and I was walking in the room, and the lady sent security to ask me to leave the room. And I'm the damn keynote speaker.
Oh,
I'm the keynote.
yeah.
She
Yikes.
sent security. So security came, and I started laughing. And he said, "Sir, you're gonna have to leave here. There's no trespassing." And I looked around. I said, "You talking to me?" and he was like, "Yeah, the lady over there just called me and said that she had a trespasser in the room." I said, "Sir, come here for a second." He walked with me, and I pointed to the wall. I said, "What do you see on that wall?" And it was me.
Oh gosh.
And so this lady, she works for the company that brought me in, but she never came to me to ask me any questions.
Yeah.
What did she do? She called security.
She made that assumption.
She made an assumption, right? And she called the security. Security come over, and I'm the keynote speaker at this place. It's over 1,000 people gonna be there the next morning. And I made a little joke about it, but still, I had to, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was very apologetic, but I said, instead of being apologetic, why don't you ask questions? Why didn't you come up to me? And she couldn't answer. I said, you didn't come up to me because you were scared, because it was something happened to you in the past, right? So trust is important. You bring me in to speak, and I can't even trust you that you got security going to kick me out, and I'm the keynote speaker, and this is a true story. And so I think the trust factor is for kids is extremely important.
Yeah.
Kids don't buy from who they don't trust. They don't learn from who they don't trust. So we have to build that trust factor. And walking in love is great, and I think you have to do that, but trust is so important. How am I supposed to get up and speak the next morning when she got security trying to kick me out, and I'm the main speaker?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have some ideas, but I would be interested in yours is what does a teacher do to build trust in those in kids? You keep talking about trust, and I just keep thinking, I can't remember who said this, but you can't withdraw from a relationship you haven't invested into.
That's right.
I think that's not mine. Someone else said that. I just want to make that clear. But we can sit here and we can talk about trust and how important it is. But what have you seen are the most impactful ways for an educator to build the trust between them and their students?
Consistent. I say consistent, honest, and just asking questions. Kids want to ask questions about, tell me about what you do last night, or did you read anything? I mean, just taking an interest in, if they're in sports, how'd you do in your game? Oh, you remember I had a game. Or just showing up. If a kid has a basketball game, just be in the stands. Make sure they see you. Wave at them. Hey, how y'all doing? And make sure they see them. That's how you build trust. It's really simple. I said consistency, asking the right kind of questions, and coming with the right kind of energy. All that builds trust.
Yeah.
We literally do almost anything, honestly. Ask them about anything,
Just think about my students. I had them in my hands, man. I used to do crazy stuff, right? I would come in and one day I came in, I had some shoulder pads on and a helmet and some shorts, and I had my socks pulled all the way up here. The kids were going nuts, laughing and stuff. But other kids was trying to get into my classroom that wasn't supposed to be there. It's because of I would do crazy stuff like that. But I also had to put my foot down. Like, no, you're not coming in here late.
Yeah.
I got to teach responsibility. So I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm trying to make a connection. So me coming in with my socks pulled all the way up and the little shorts and the shoulder pads on, it connected with them. They thought that was hilarious. And here I am. Can you imagine your teacher teaching with shoulder pads and a helmet
None
on?
of my teachers.
I don't want
They don't
to.
have your physique.
I don't want to.
Well, back then, that physique I had back then.
I don't want
ain't
to
talking about
imagine
now.
that.
I wouldn't do that today. But,
Can you speak tomorrow like that?
Oh, no. I would not. I'm old now. That was back in my young days. But I just think, thinking out the box with different ways to connect, and especially with this new generation. I mean, it's tough to connect with kids who are always in their phones. That's what they do. Maybe have some incentives like, hey, if we do this, that, and other, and everybody can get their phones out the last 10 minutes. Just find ways to connect and be consistent with it. And that's a problem I have with educators. You got to be consistent. Be fair and be consistent.
My wife had a boss, speaking of he tried so hard to build those relationships, make those connections, but he would make it like a task item on meetings of build relationship, was like a checkbox. And that really got that impacted her because she was like, you don't really care. That doesn't build that trust.
Right.
That
He
kind of
said
thing.
he had a box that said,
It was like like goals for a meeting, build relationship, and then like everything else. He was trying really hard, but I tell that story just to say like, because I think there needs to be some authenticity of that consistency. And just as an encouragement, I think sometimes building relationships, we've been friends for a while. There's times where I have fumbled the football in our relationship, Will. Like I'll say something that isn't quite right or make a joke about something that I think is okay that is not okay. So one, just as an encouragement, I feel like that consistency, just keep trying and building, being honest, saying, hey, I'm sorry. I messed up. Will you forgive me? Giving those examples. But along those lines, like specifically in cultural awareness things, a lot of teachers may mean well in some of the ways that they try and include culture and recognize different cultures and things like that. But like, I don't know, do you have any advice for some people that might, so to speak, fumble that football of, hey, I tried to kind of bring some cultural awareness, but I made a mistake. This was not the way to do it.
Well, if you try to build cultural awareness, don't use racial microaggressions.
True.
That doesn't help, when you're trying to do that. But educators just need to know that if you make a mistake, just apologize. And then after you apologize, say, teach me, because I want to learn. And I think that's where the ball drops. You apologize, and then you go on to do the same behavior again, and you do it again, and you do it again without learning the lesson. And if it keeps happening to you, you haven't learned the lesson yet.
Yeah.
So if you do make a mistake, now it's time to ask a question. Here, I need you to educate me. And I promise you, kids will educate you. They love doing it. They say, well, listen, when you say this, you need to say it this way. When you do this, we do it this way because of this. And you're increasing your knowledge, but you also still being your authentic self. If you love country music, then play your country music. Don't be trying to rap and trying to dance looking all crazy. You look crazy. Stop doing that.
Own your culture too.
Yeah, hone your own culture and teach kids about you, but in return, say, listen, this is who I am. This is what I like. Tell me who you are. What do you like? And then you kind of trading off and learning about each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the ball is dropped, because some educators, they want kids to learn about them. They got their little posters up, they got their rooms decorated the way they want them decorated. They playing the music they like, but they don't want to learn about the kids. Or they want to just bash them, like, I don't want to listen to none of that. Well, that's what they listen to. Maybe you should try to listen and learn. Why do you listen to? What do you like about this music? What does it do to you? Well, this motivates me. I listen to this before every game, and it's talking about killing, and it's talking about this, that, and the other. Then the kid get to thinking like, wow, it is talking about that. Maybe I should change what I'm listening to. But if you can never establish that rapport and start having that conversation, it goes in a circle, and nothing's ever accomplished. But we can't continue to stereotype kids. We got to start asking them questions.
Yeah.
And we can't just push off what's important to us. I mean, even with my own kids, my kids at home, man, it's a generational gap there, right? So I got to learn from them, because, my son, I mean, he's in his 20s. I mean, he teaches high school. He teaches forensic science.
Oh, cool.
And he coaches basketball. But even he, it's a new generation. I remember connecting with him and his friends, and now he's 27 years old. He's a teacher and a coach, and now he's learning new things about these kids. And he calls me all the time, Dad, guess what? I said, I told you. I said, that's all I got to do is ask questions. You're going to learn some things that you didn't know. He think he knows everything. I said, your kids will teach you, and they will. I'm a couple generations removed from that, so I let him handle that.
Got to let him learn some, but
yeah.
I think this episode's just ask questions.
Basically,
and when you ask the question, make sure you practice active listening.
True.
And understanding. Don't just ask a question and move on. Get an understanding of why they answered the way they did, why I listen to this, why I do this, and you get a better understanding. Because I seen a teacher snatch a guy's phone from him one time. That phone was his life. That's how he gets paid. That's how he works and makes his money and everything else. And some of these kids, they go nuts over them phones. I just don't believe in just snatching somebody's stuff from them. I believe it's a more respectable way of doing things. And come to find out, this young man, if he did not do certain things on his phone, his family wasn't going to eat that night. How would you know that if you don't ask questions? You just snatching stuff from kids, and he was going crazy. He's going crazy for a reason because he's hungry.
Yeah.
He knows what it feels like to be hungry, and he don't want to walk around. He don't want his family to be hungry. So it's certain things he had to do on his phone as part of his job. It wasn't nothing illegal. It was just things he had to do on his phone, and he tried to explain it to her, and she told him to shut up.
That hurts.
Those type of educators, how can you build? Is he going to trust her?
No.
No, never.
It's not.
Never.
She can walk in love till it storms and get sunny again. But he's not going to trust her. And if he don't trust her, he's not going to learn from her. And then we get all these test scores, and he's not doing well in his test scores, and that's a whole nother category. You didn't make the connection. I try to teach educators how to make the connection, impact, inspire growth, plant positive seeds. How do you do that? You got to connect first. If I can't connect with you, then I can't do anything anyway.
Game over.
Because the number one assignment for an educator is to capture that kid's attention. You know why? You can have the best lesson plan. You can been educating for 40 years. Nobody cares. If nobody's listening to you and you haven't made a connection, then it doesn't matter what you teach them.
Yeah. That's 100% true.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground so far in this first half, and I love it. I hate to kind of pause it for a minute, but we're going to take a short break and come back. We'll continue this conversation, get into some more practical things of cultural awareness and those things that teachers can like get into their classroom and take away. I think there's already so many things.
That I already kind of named a bunch too, so it's good.
Yeah, but we'll circle back to some or whatever. But anyway,
Sounds good.
hang out, guys, for a couple minutes, and we will see you on the other side of the break.
Let me know if this sounds familiar. You just finished listening to an episode of the Innovative Schools podcast, and you want to hear more from that guest or speaker. Well, you can. At the Innovative Schools Summit. The Innovative Schools Summit is an event that brings internationally recognized thought leaders, educational consultants, teachers, and administrators from all over to come and show you what they've learned. We feature speakers like Michelle Borba, Michael Bonner, Steve Spangler, Gary Brooks, Kim Bearden, and many, many more. You're not going to want to miss this. We hold these summits in the big cities like New York, Las Vegas, Nashville, Orlando, and San Antonio, so there's always one close by. If you want more information, go to theinnovativeschoolsummit.com and check it out. We hope to see you there. Learn from the best in education on Accurate.com. Accurate.com is our subscription-based service that we offer for educators just like you. We have over 40 masterclass-style courses that gives you more than 80 hours of training. These courses cover a multitude of subjects like leadership in your school, to climate and culture, to even just classroom management, and so much more. And this training is from the real experts like Bruda Kefele, Michelle Borba, John Almarode, and even Michael Bonner. We release a new course every month, and you'll be able to start applying these strategies as soon as your next day in the classroom. Go to Accurate.com to get started. If you use promo code PODCAST at checkout, you get 10% off your first 6 months. Visit Accurate.com and start learning from the pros today. All right, welcome back, everybody, in this episode of the Innovative Schools podcast. Jordan and I are joined with Robert Jackson as we're talking about building cultural awareness in your school.
We pretty much just recapped asking questions.
Yes. So the full recap so far, the first thing is asking questions to build that connection. So with that in mind, that's where we'll start and kind of keep pushing on. With that in mind, we're going to keep rolling there. So what strategies can educators use to better connect with culturally different students? So we've mentioned asking questions, but what are some other things that educators can use to really build those connections and bridges with all the students in their classroom?
Well, once you compile all the information that you learned, and you learned about the different backgrounds and cultures, now I need to see it. Show it in your classroom. Have a day where maybe that kid can get up in front of the classroom and talk a little bit about their culture. And it can teach some of the other, not only is it teaching educators, it's teaching classmates because kids are cruel to each other, right?
Yeah.
And kids make fun of each other because if it's not normal to me, then I'm going to make fun of you. But instead, you're getting folks coming up in front of the classroom, and educators can lead this, and they're talking about their different cultural backgrounds and where they come from and the food they eat and how they celebrate their culture and how they celebrate different things. I mean, I feel like it's a good learning tool for any classroom, not just for the teacher, but for the students. And also, there should be some representation in the classroom. I should see like things around the classroom that remind me of my culture. You know, I think for everybody, every different culture in that classroom should be represented somewhere on the walls. I mean, different ways you can do it besides talking about it. I want to see pictures on the wall. So it's so many different ways to connect. Outside of asking those questions, you know, you have to put it into motion at that point. You know, you've asked all the questions. Now you've gotten all the answers. Now, what are you going to do with that information? Well, why not have the kids use their voice? Get up and explain, well, you know, I was born in India and we do this, or I was born in Harlem and we do this, you know, because, you know, kids need to learn about each other too.
Yeah. And just because you said it earlier, and I just want to make sure, because I find myself slipping into this a little bit. I'm going to be honest right now, because I trust y'all. But earlier, right, we said, I don't know if I should anymore.
Hold up.
He goes, really? You trust me? I don't. Because you were saying, and I agree that culture is not color. Color, I forget which.
Not necessarily. I'll say
not
culture.
Necessarily.
Not necessarily
Sorry,
color.
I apologize. And so I just find myself, as you're talking, you're saying they should see their culture around. Is that it's not just you know, if they're from another country or something like that, but the culture can be down to just likes, dislikes, things that they find fun, or
it can be food, different food. It can be
likes, hobbies,
how you dress. Come
music.
in dressed like your culture, or come in dressed the way that your culture dress. You know, or maybe have a day where everybody can come in and talk about different foods they eat and why they eat them and what they don't eat. Because some certain
and it's not necessarily
folks don't
like,
eat pork. You know,
yeah. It's not necessarily just I don't know if there's, but out of the norm foods, we're in America, so out of the norm of like maybe foods from other countries, but it could just be like, hey, my family, like one of the very special things in our family is grandma spaghetti. Like that's a cultural thing in our family.
Right.
Like we all fight over that recipe and that last meatball. Like I'm not even kidding. This isn't just like a hypothetical. This is a legitimate thing. You know, we're there for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. And like, what? We don't care about the turkey. What night is grandma's spaghetti coming out? Right.
Exactly. And then along with the spaghetti, what do? We talk. We have conversations about life. And we talk about this. This is when we have our greatest conversations, when we eating grandma's spaghetti.
Yeah.
That's a culture thing. You know, because that everybody looks forward to. I see how excited you got. Hey, it's grandma's spaghetti. You're looking forward to it. Hopefully, it tastes good too. But you know, I think the whole atmosphere around grandma's spaghetti. It's the camaraderie, bringing everybody together and talking and having conversations. All that's culture.
Yeah, and I just see so many pathways of working that stuff into lessons and things. So I think about. My daughter was working on like writing directions. Like that was one of the things that they're learning, like making sure to follow directions and steps, and how do you write out directions so people can do the things that you're asking, and like bringing in, like I could see, maybe I'll say this to her teacher. I don't know. I'll be like, yo, she could, like part of this is writing out how to make grandma spaghetti and work it into what's happening. Like I see pathways of culture up on the walls for sure, but also how can they be incorporated into what they're learning so that they are meeting content, they are sharing their culture, and they're learning of other
I couldn't
other
agree
cultures.
with you more. That's all that, everything you just shared, that's what it is. But can we get to that point where we can do that? Do my kids trust me enough that I can allow them to express themselves and be comfortable in this space and not feel stereotyped or made fun of? Because kids are going to laugh and they're going to make fun of stuff because they don't understand. And if you don't understand something, another thing they can do is listen to kids. I mean, listen to some of the bad stuff that's happened because, you know, people stereotyping kids. And I've seen 12-year-olds, you know, crying, talking about, well, they made fun of me because of this. And, you know, my grandmother makes this and we grew up this way, you know. So I think having that conversation and making sure that my class understands that, you know, we're all different, but we're all unique. We got different experiences, and we're going to talk about some of those experiences today, and it helps us get to know each other better.
Yeah. How this seems loaded. I'm just gonna say like how important. It's not really important. That's not what I'm asking. I guess I want to say is, I think kids take a lot of cues on how to respect culture from the adults in the school.
They do. Not just in the school, but at home and
At
everywhere.
home too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
They do.
But I think that's a heavy weight. I mean, just thinking about how, just those different responses, and it can be everything down from microaggressions to bigger things. The kids, they just take cues from the way that we respond to those things.
They do. I mean, when you're watching your parents who are raising you behave a certain way about a certain group of people, you're forming that opinion in your mind. Maybe they're not good people. I'm at the airport, and I remember this was some years ago, but I remember I was at the airport, and this little girl could have been no more than 3 or 4 years old. Mommy, there go one of them. That's a racial microaggression.
Yeah.
Those are the everyday insults and demeaning messages sent by people who are unaware of the messages they're sending. Little girl 3.
Yeah.
Who's teaching her? And her mom said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "Why don't you explain what that means? What are you teaching her about people that look like me?" See, it's a difference between culture and race. Now you get into the race stuff, that's different, And this young lady, there go one of them. That's a racial microaggression, or you're different than them. Who is them? What does that mean? When I see you, I don't see color. What, you colorblind? I see color every morning. Y'all see color when y'all see me?
Yeah.
It's okay. I let you colorblind, right? And I had a good friend of mine that was colorblind. I get it. But don't say stuff like that. Or I got plenty of white friends. I got plenty of black friends. And I got plenty of Mexican friends. Just say, I got plenty of friends. Why's it got to be a race on it? I got friends. And that's good that you have friends, but you don't have to point out that, oh, my best friend's black. Well, you want a cookie or something? Well, you want an award? Stuff like that, and I think people are unaware of the messages they're sending. I was on the plane working on one of my books, and the guy next to me, you type fast he never finished. I said, for a what? What does that mean? So those kind of conversations need to be had, and I don't mind addressing it, but sometimes you get tired of addressing it.
Yeah.
Especially when you get my age. I've been doing this stuff for a long time, but I have to breathe and say, okay, now it's teaching. It's lesson time. I got to teach. And that's the only way you're going to get past it. You got to teach. Can't get in your feelings all the time. You have to be able to teach this thing. If you can't teach it, then you're not going to get anything accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably fill a book with all your stories like that, honestly.
Too many to count, So, but like I said, teachable moments. And I think you can use some of those examples to teach what not to do. Or, I know you're used to doing this, but it's not right to continue to do this. It makes me feel like this. And I think feelings are valid and valued. The way you make other people feel with your comments or your stereotypes, how does it affect other people? How's that going to affect my children who may not have a filter that I have? I've grown and matured to a certain level that I have a filter. My youngest daughter, she don't have a filter. If she sees something she don't like, she going to tell you right there in front of everybody. I mean, she will. And I love that about her, but it makes me cringe too. Like, you got to keep some things yourself. Well, come and tell daddy. You got to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Well, they treated me this way and I don't like it. And, well, she going to tell you she don't like it. Right? But you want kids to be honest, but we have to also be honest with ourselves. We don't always say the right things. I don't care if you're black, white, Asian. It don't matter. I mean, we all do it. And we have to make sure that we're respecting everybody.
Yeah. I think just that honesty with ourselves of, that was not right. Or honesty of asking, like, did I say something there that I'm not supposed to? Is there a blind spot? For me that I don't understand, can you help me understand? Back to the questions.
And it happens all the time. It's like, what goes on in your head? What have you experienced to make you act like this? I fly a lot, so, I have, high status on Delta and all that, so I fly first class a lot, right? So I get bumped up a lot.
Just a little flex,
So-
just a little flex.
So I'm standing in line for first class, and this man, he just steps on my foot and just gets right in front of me. Just stepped on me. I mean, he literally stepped on my foot and got right in front of me. And I'm like, that's crazy, right? I said, I know he just stepped and didn't say anything. Then I get on the plane, and I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm sitting next to him.
Oh, gosh.
And he's in my seat. And I say, I'm in 3C. You're in 3D. Because it says 3C on it. And then I asked him, I said, what made you just step on me and just walk in front of me like that? You know what he said? He said, I didn't mean to step on you, but I could have said sorry. That's the first thing he said. That's a red flag. I didn't mean to step on you, but I could have apologized. So he knew he stepped on me.
Yeah.
And the second thing he said really blew my mind. I didn't think you was in first class. I said, why not? He couldn't answer me. I said, why didn't you think I was in first class? He couldn't answer me. And that was bothersome for me. For you, what did he do? He assumed. He assumed.
Yeah.
And I got a million thoughts about it, right?
Yeah.
And there's no need to go in 100 different directions, and you probably got a million thoughts. Why would you assume that I'm not sitting in first class and I'm standing in line for first class?
Yeah.
What goes through your thought process to make you do something? And he stepped on me on top of that and didn't apologize. Then he sat in my seat.
Yeah.
So now I got to sit next to this guy for 4 hours. Didn't hardly say a word, but just kept peeking over, seeing what I'm doing, but what's in his background that made him feel like this? And so at least I asked him, so.
Yeah. All
He
comes
said,
back to the questions.
I didn't think you were in first class. I said, why? He couldn't answer me.
Yeah.
Most bizarre stuff I ever seen. I mean, it's so many stories like it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But those are the type of situations that happens in schools all the time. This teacher grew up this way. She's used to her parents treating this certain group of people this way. So now she has those thoughts. And if I don't feel like I can teach you, I don't feel like you're capable of learning, I'm not going to treat you as such.
Yeah.
And those are kind of educators that I've had in the past as a student and that I've seen in my travels. And he's not capable of learning. I said, why not? Because he's just bad. I said, have you ever asked why is he acting the way? Have you ever talked to him? Well, he's always in trouble. I asked you that.
Yeah.
I said, have you ever talked to him and asked him, why are you behaving this way? What has happened that's caused you to be this way? I said, just try it. She tried it. He told her. He told her about all the stuff that was going on at home. He told her, I don't have food half the time, like the oven's warming up the house. He started telling her stuff, and it blew her mind. She started crying.
Yeah.
Because some of these things that kids go through will bring you to tears. It will make you emotional,
Yeah.
right?
All of a sudden, it just starts to make sense.
And even with teachers, I was talking to a group of teachers in Montgomery, Alabama, just yesterday. And lady broke down crying. She said, I need to do better. I need to walk in love. And I said, it's okay. Sometimes you got to release some stuff. Mm-hmm. But, you release it and you do better. But some people don't want to do better.
That true?
Yeah.
Some people don't care. And
That's
those
a
are the
whole
very
other
ones who are
conversation.
working with kids all the time. I've been doing this for 40 years. That don't mean you've been doing it right. That means you messed up 40 years of generations of kids, Just because you've been doing it a long time don't mean it's right,
It's true.
Yeah.
So we got to always have our learning cap on. I've been doing this for 30 years, but I'm still learning every day. Because when I started, we ain't had no cell phones and we ain't have no PowerPoints and all that. You just teaching. Kids throwing stuff at you. You still got to teach.
Still got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is really powerful, but I think also on the other side, like you were saying that how the teacher grew up and maybe their parents treated a certain group of people a certain way. But I think even the other way, you as an educator are entering this classroom where those students, their parents are teaching them. Mm-hmm. So you're already identifying your own, biases and stereotypes, but then now you're also combating against any that those students have just in your normal teaching as you're going, just in all those moments. So just kind of, I think I'm trying to go back in my own brain to think of maybe moments that we ran into that in a classroom that I was in when I was in school. Just kind of think of any moments like that. But I just think that's, you're either way, you're identifying it in yourself and you're identifying in them. And if it's different, you're kind of combating what that kid is learning from you and from their guardian or whoever the whole time. It's a lot of extra going on.
It is, and that's why you have to be careful even with dress codes. I don't focus on dress codes with kids. I focus on character development. If I teach him how to build his character, he's going to pull his pants up and he's going to do everything else right. But if you constantly take your hat off, pull your pants up, but you're not teaching them why.
Yeah.
Where's the why? Why?
The why is so important.
Pull your pants up, young man, because this is where men wear their pants. And if you need a belt, I'll buy you one. But you know, in prison, when you're wearing your pants down here, it means this. Or in slavery, it means that. And you start educating kids on why to do certain things. Or you just start building a character in general. You know, you can't, I'm looking at you and your friends and you're an eagle amongst chickens. You're going to college. Some of these guys are not going. You need to start, I'm not telling you to get rid of your friends, but I'm just telling you that you got to start surrounding yourself with people with like minds.
Yeah. You
show me your friends, I show you your future.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to cut off certain people because I had an old man pull me aside and told me, he said, he told me a true story. He said, "You're an eagle amongst chickens." I'm like, what do you mean? Ain't got no eagles and chickens in my neighborhood, So he basically was saying that, you up here and you're going here, they're not going anywhere. So you got to start surrounding yourself with people who are going somewhere like you. That's all he was saying. Mm-hmm. I asked him, he broke it down for me. And it made me think a little bit like, man, maybe he's right. Because I started asking my friends questions about certain things. Man, forget that. I ain't going to college. You think you're smarter than us and start, and really started being insulting, right? But we got to use these teachable moments, because that's our mission is to educate, activate, and motivate, not just now, but forever. And then we have to be learning while we teaching. And I want educators to know you can learn while you teaching. That don't mean you know everything. Nobody knows everything. You still should be learning daily. Everybody. We all should be learning about each other daily. I learn stuff every day.
Yeah. I try my hardest to learn something new.
Me too.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, Robert, this has been great.
Oh, wow. It's over?
I mean, we can keep going. We've been talking for a while. I mean, the first episode of Questions is done, I guess. But no, I've really enjoyed hearing a lot of your perspectives and where you come from, because I agree that culture is super important to recognizing culture and empowering kids to feel strong in their culture and to feel comfortable sharing it. My daughter's a little, she's blessed. So her school is a school that has a lot of NATO families. Mm-hmm. So there's something like 50 countries represented in her school.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And they do a great job of helping kids share where they're from and their kind of cultures and things. But also beyond that is not just like their country culture, but their individual culture. And so I want to thank you for sharing all of your thoughts and things.
Thanks for having me. I mean, I've really enjoyed it, but like I said, it's all teachable moments.
Yeah, teachable moments.
Yeah.
I love that phrase. But that's great. Thank you, Will, for hanging out too.
Of course, I had a great time. Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of things that you were saying today, Robert, that I either had my own story about or just really kind of dug to my heart a little bit. Of yes, I need to take these moments. I mean, even with my friends, like I need to take these moments and not react and not get in my feelings, but maybe take it as a teachable time and teachable moment in that. So I'm definitely walking away with something today, which is always my goal, honestly.
I've definitely learned that through the years to not take everything personal. Because when you've been poked on so much your whole life, you take it personal. Some people really don't mean any harm. That's how they grew up. So that's when it's a teachable moment. You got to teach. And when somebody's willing to learn, like, oh, man, my bad, I didn't mean to do that. My dad or my mom taught me this, and that don't necessarily make it right, but at least they're trying to get an understanding of how you feel and why you feel the way you do. And that's why I encourage educators all the time, sit down with each other and talk. And when you talk, listen. It's about acceptance and respect. I may not agree with everything you say, but I'm accepted and respected.
Sure.
That's important.
Yeah, that is really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, everyone, for listening to this episode. Again, thank you, Robert. Thanks, Will, for being
Thanks for
here.
having
We hope you guys learned something. I know you did. I don't know why I say hope. I know you learned something today. But we ask if you enjoyed this episode that you like and subscribe, share it with some of your colleagues and your friends. I say this all the time. We don't do this podcast just to become a popular podcast, but we do this to help educators, and we can't help more educators without it being shared. So hope that you subscribe and you share it, and we will see you guys on the next episode.